freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your mega preview pod for this week's Masters. Joining me to break it all down, Patrick McDonald is here. Patrick, hello.
Hey guys, I'm hoping, I'm not hoping, but in the back of my mind, I wouldn't hate recreation of the PGA Championship podcast from last year between you and KP, but I'll admit I'm battling a little bit of a bug. I don't know if it traveled up 95 from LIV Golf Miami. Cam Smith, Adam Hayes, both on the mend, but we'll get through it. It's a major championship week.
I actually requested one single chair for us in the media center to share this week, but denied. So we'll have to fly our separate ways. Greg DuCharme is here. Hello, Greg.
Oh, boys, good times. I can't believe it's here. It is right around the corner. I'm starting to get a little antsy. And I'm with Patrick. I wish we could see that again. It was a great two-shot last time.
Kyle Porter is here. He's there. He's everywhere. KP, good to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too, Rick. Nobody needs to see any of that again. What floor are you on, by the way? We're in the same hotel. We haven't seen each other.
Yes, I'm going to try not to dox myself here. I'm on the 5th floor.
Okay, you might be right above me. I'm on the 4th.
Oh, hi, Kyle.
It's the you gotta get the nomenclature right. It's the press building.
I know I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm gonna get in a lot of trouble. What else am I'm not allowed to say? I have to say what, hole locations or pin positions, one or the other.
Hole locations.
Second 9.
I'm gonna screw this up.
Oh, you are.
Second cut.
Yeah.
There's no
Not
rough,
good.
right? It's the second cut.
Second
We should have a spin-off podcast series called The Second Cut.
Instead of First Cut After Dark.
Instead of First Cut After Dark,
the
it's
second cut. I'm in.
Where
That's
are
where
you?
we could house all the time zones takes and everything.
Well, I was gonna say it's just me and Greg just chopping it up while Rick is,
Sweating.
While Rick is away, Greg and Kyle will just yell at each other for an hour.
Well, I'm trying to get to ad breaks and things like that. Trying to keep you guys in line. All right, gents, listen, we've done an early Masters preview. We will be doing a ton. I don't know if you saw the schedule for tomorrow, KP, but there's like First Cut in the middle of the day on CBS Sports Network. There's like a ton of stuff that we're going to do. Let's keep this very in the moment. And Kyle, we're gonna throw it to you first here because you were there today, right? Were you in the pressers?
Press building, yes.
Which did you sit through all of them, or which ones did you sit through?
Yeah, so I went Rahm, I went Tiger, I went who else was Rory, I went Spieth, Scheffler, and Brooks.
Okay.
And Hovland. I went to Hovland too.
Before we get to those, how is the feeling on the grounds? Is there what's the vibe? Is it different than any other year? What's the sense that you're getting from the grounds of Augusta National?
Yeah, it's a good question. I went out only briefly in the afternoon. There were a lot of people. I was talking to somebody who said, man, it feels like there's more people here than in the past few years on practice days. I don't get out on the course a ton on Monday, Tuesday, just because usually Monday's a travel day. Tuesday's the presser day where, you're talking to guys, chopping it up. So the press conferences were interesting though, Rick. There wasn't, I would say they were kind of subdued. There weren't any like amazing quotes. I was intrigued by them just because I'm intrigued by everything that these top guys talk about and are interested in. But I think, I was talking to somebody else, like I think coming off of last year, there was so much contention around LIV and the major, like everything that was coming into 2023, that with a little bit of that having played out, other than Rahm, which we can talk about, I didn't feel the tension or the contention necessarily that you felt a year ago. And honestly, I had the feeling today of like, let's just start the tournament, because I don't know how much we have to talk about other than Scotty or the field.
Okay, interesting. And things are different, Greg, for some of the players in the field. Rory McIlroy didn't show up until today, right? He was the last guy to check in, wasn't he? Isn't he rocking 89 on the caddy bib? Rory is coming in, and we'll get to his press conference here and some of the things that he said in a minute, but he's coming in trying to do things a little bit differently.
And this has been a theme. He's done this over the past couple of years as he tries to dial it in and crack the code. He mentioned it in his press conference, and I knew that this was going to happen. I knew he was coming in on Tuesday, but he said, I got here 30 minutes ago. And it
coming in hot.
Yeah, it took me about the first we'll make it in time for my press conference, and then we'll get to work. So a very interesting strategy change. Last year he played some, 81 holes or 82 holes or something in lead up. A very different strategy this year. But I did think Rory had some interesting comments on his own game as well.
And Patrick,
well, he was real quick, Rick. Did you see how the press conference ended, Greg?
It ended quickly. Yeah, it looked like I was thinking about that, Kyle, because I saw some of the activity on X that you had about that. And I was wondering if, because of his time, if he said something along the lines of, yeah, we'll do from this time to this time, and that's it. And they hold you true they hold to it at Augusta National. So it definitely ended quickly.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead, Rick.
No, I want you to go.
Well, I was just going to say it was a little odd in that he was kind of vibe. I think that is what happened, Craig. I think they didn't. I think his team or him, whoever, I don't know, didn't really. I mean, they've kind of curtailed all media stuff over the last, basically since Canada last year, right? Since the merger announcement, the don't call it a merger announcement. So it wasn't unusual in that sense. It was only unusual because Augusta National is this place where you sort of give your State of the Union, your annual, like, here's all my stuff, here's what's going on. And he was doing that. He was kind of vibing a little bit. He was giving some really good answers, and then it was just over. And everybody was like, wait a second, what? The whole thing was like, he was in a great mood, but then it was just over. It was a little bit jarring.
It was a little bit jarring. And Patrick, you've been kind of, on top of this. I mean, this is very much about how he starts, not necessarily how he finishes. Maybe the finish comes with how well he gets off to this thing on Thursday and Friday, which last time I checked looks like it's going to be pretty wet.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of the weather. I guess we'll get into that later. Like how much golf they're even gonna play Thursday with what's in the forecast. It looks pretty bad, but I like this Rory McIlroy. I mean, he seems really laid back, stress-free. He got a good start in last week. Good, not great. That's kind of what you want to do pretty much going into the Masters, and he seems to be in a really good headspace. We don't have to call in Bob Rotella. We don't have to fly him in. Wednesday night this year, we got the psychologist Butch Harmon at the helm instead. Nice little 45-minute meeting before some swing instruction. Gotta love that.
Daily text.
That is key.
Surprising.
No ghosting. Butch, we can't be ghosting this weekend or this week. I know Butch is on the ground. Maybe paying a little attention to one Richard Flower as well. Not playing too hot. But yeah, I mean, I like what I heard. It's a shame that maybe the Green Jackets felt like there was a threat in the room. KP's talking State of the Union. Maybe they had to shut it down. And, we're on to Wednesday.
I didn't even get my question in.
Maybe KP's the threat.
What would your question have been, Kyle? What would you have asked Rory?
Well, I did a piece for tomorrow for CBSSports.com about what brings different guys delight or joy just about coming to Augusta National. And so I asked Scotty, I asked Brooks. No, I didn't ask Brooks. I asked Scotty, Hovland. I tried to ask Tiger. I tried to ask Rory, but I didn't get called on. But I'm just curious because it's such a different week, right? And it's a week that we all experience differently than all the other weeks. and players do too. And so I was just really curious about like what delights you about this week, because they get into these routines and it gets normalized to come to Augusta National for everybody that does it a lot. And so I wanted to know what stands out to certain guys.
That was your question where Victor said feeling the history in the walls or something like that.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was awesome.
I would have loved Brooks.
Yeah. I asked Brooks.
He would have gone so many different directions, I feel like. Or
well,
not.
I should have asked him, but I asked him, is there anything that you learned from, like, I was like, you're pretty singular, like you do your own thing. And then I was like, is there anything you learn from other guys just by watching them or being around them? And he said he used to pay attention to DJ and Graham McDowell. And I was like, well, what about like present? And he's like, no, not really. Like, I just kind of do my own deal. I was like, oh, okay, there you go. So I should have asked him the other question.
Wasn't the only one on the interview list for today. Jon Rahm, our defending champion, Greg, made an appearance in front of the microphone, was asked things like, do you think you're being viewed as a Masters champion or a LIV golfer? He said both. And then when pressed, he said, maybe Masters champ. Maybe I'll lean in that direction. But Rahm has sort of had a couple of interesting quotes leading up to the Masters about format changes on LIV and maybe thinking that he was the big domino that was ready to fall. Didn't happen. And it has been a very, I don't want to say subdued Jon Rahm, but like a different Rahm, it feels like.
Oh, this was, as I watched it, again, I'm watching on a computer. I'm not in the room. It looked like he had a really difficult time with a lot of these questions. It looked challenging for him. It almost looked emotional for him at times. He looked like he was uncomfortable. And Rick, you bring up that question about him being the domino to fall and change things. And boy, it seems like he really does feel that way. At least that was my read on it. And I can't help but think that he misclubbed big time and really seemed to misjudge the wind. And now he's in this situation and trying to make the most of it. But as he answered some of those questions, one of his answers was, ultimately I did what was best for me and my family. And it seemed like that was a hard answer to get out for him. So it was it was a very different Rahm, and it was a kind of almost an uncomfortable press conference for me.
What was it like in the room, KP?
That's spot on. And I think it was uncomfortable for him to get that out because I don't think he really believed what he was saying, Craig. I mean, Rahm is like he's like one of the better quotes in golf. Like he, top 3 for me. And he just like, he's not an idiot. Like he has to feel a little bit of like foolishness sitting up there with this, Legion 13 logo next to a Augusta National member as the defending champion. Like there just has to be like some like what I think what the Masters does, Rick, is it really accentuates different situations. So if you're playing great golf, it accentuates that. If you're playing bad golf, it highlights that. It brings out what is most true about you because there's so much pressure and so much intensity around the week. And I think what it brought out of Rahm today, even in the press conference, we haven't even gotten to the golf yet, is just some like gravity of the situation of like, what did I do? And he was almost like trying to kind of talk himself into it at times, like, oh yeah, the team golf, and he doesn't believe that. And my family, I think he kind of believes that, but like half-heartedly. And he's doing this champions dinner, and it just has to feel a little bit silly that so much of the focus is on this thing that he tried to accomplish rather than on him being the defending champion.
That's the thing. There's at least, Patrick, a level of awkwardness. He's at least trying to juggle multiple balls in the air at once, whether it's, hey, I'm I'm supposed to be here. I've got my defending champion status. I've got this dinner that I have to host tonight. At the same time, I'm now a representative from LIV. I need to make sure I hit the points on that, even though I again admitted I miss Tory, I miss Phoenix, I miss being at Riviera. There's just kind of this awkwardness, Patrick. And the thing is, we haven't even talked about him playing golf, which I feel like is probably like how much of all of that can you have in your brain and then try to step on the first tee Thursday and win another major?
Yeah, it's tough. I don't think it's necessarily the LIV talking points that he's spewing that everyone else is. It's more, I don't want to really look like an idiot. I don't want to look like I totally regret this decision. I want to look like I'm happy, I'm at peace, and my focus is the champions dinner, the speech, and then trying to defend my title. It was definitely awkward watching it through the TV like Greg. I wish if he wanted to be big baller, if he just rolled up there with his LIV Golf Letterman jacket, that would have been a huge move, I think, to kind of build some confidence going into this week. But yeah, I'm with Kyle where, the quotes weren't there from Rahm, which were kind of disappointing. So let's just get to the golf. Let's see where his game's at. He's 18 less rounds, competitive rounds this year than last. The strokes gain numbers suggest his approach play isn't as good as it was last year. So there's definitely question marks in his game, and as one of the favorites to win this tournament.
Go
ahead,
go ahead, Kyle. I want to ask you a question, but you go ahead first.
I was just going to say, I think the golf has actually been pretty decent. I mean, it's a little tough to tell, just LIV, and I mean, Rick has the strokes gain numbers, but I think they've been pretty good. I'm more concerned mentally and emotionally. Like, where's he at there? Because that's where he seemed pretty wound up on Tuesday. He's just got all these wires crossed that it's like, I don't know. He just doesn't seem to be in a great headspace going into a major.
There were some moments in there where, and maybe I'm crazy and seeing things, but it almost looked like he was like on the verge of tears. Like his he made some facial expressions where he looked so sad. Like his eyes looked sad. It almost looked like they were watering up, and I've never seen that before. But look, I'm a absolute critic, and I felt bad for him. And I don't know that I should, but it was like a very sad.
You should not
situation.
He's got $400 million to wipe those tears, Greg.
Yeah,
I totally agree, because we've talked about this a million times, but the 400 million is like, okay, well, to what?
Nothing's.
End?
Well, he said that.
Like
that was his original. Is like, we're good. I don't like $100 million. We're gonna do the same exact stuff. So it's definitely not the money. Remember, we floated the idea that Rahm was a double agent, that he was the guy that would force the PGA Tour to come together. And we were kind of joking. He at least, I think he believed that.
I think he believed that too.
Yeah, on some level, he did. And this is where, like, he's super self-aware and he's super smart. And you look at guys like, everybody's got different motives, right? DJ's like, yeah, man, I just work less and make more money. Like, sweet. And Brooks, I think, has sort of been able to just, in his own words, he's been able to say, like, yeah, all this stuff is stupid. Like, I just got paid and I play majors. Like, what do you?
That's what I've always done anyway.
Yeah, like, I thought I was heard and I just took the money. Like, he's basically said that. And Rahm, man, like, I think he did think, like, I'm the guy to do this. And in some ways, you're like, that's kind of, it's selfish in some ways, but it's also a little commendable. And then he got. And I just think I think this week doesn't feel like he thought it would and that it should. And I think he's trying to, like, reconcile that internally.
It's fascinating stuff, and we've got plenty more to get to. We've got to talk about Tiger Woods. We've got to talk about the golf course. We will give our best bets, our one and done selections for this week's Masters. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
Every spring, we marvel at its majesty. A tradition unlike any other. The Masters. This weekend on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
And we're back. The Big Cat. Now, this, KP, this felt like the State of the Union, right? Like you get like the big Tiger Woods update every so often. And what I want to start with here, because we are finally getting a follow-up on this. When he said last year he wanted to play once a month, and we, cocked our heads at that and said, wow, that seems like a lot. He was asked about that hope and that ambition and essentially why that hasn't happened. He would say, quote, well, I wasn't ready to play. My body wasn't ready. My game wasn't ready. And I thought that when I was at the Hero, once a month would be a really nice rhythm. Hasn't worked out that way. But now we have major championships every month from here through July. So now the once a month hopefully kicks in. So it was truly just a delayed once a month. We're now entering the once a month regiment for Tiger.
Yeah, and I think one way to read that is he basically just missed one event, right? He played Riv, and then he missed March, and now it's April.
Do you?
I guess you could.
Everything you know right now that he plays all 4 major championships.
Like starts or what?
Yeah, starts.
Yeah.
I hope so.
The whole excuse me. I've gone off on this before. The whole song and dance of like, oh, Tiger's flushing it. And, do you think you can, like, I'm good. Like, I don't need it. I don't want it. Nobody wants it. Nobody needs it. It's outrageous. Like Tiger Woods he's played 20 holes this year, 25 holes, whatever it is. He's not going to win the Masters. He's not going to like compete to win the Masters. It's cool that he's out there, and maybe he'll make the cut. That'd be sweet. But like, what are we talking about when we're talking about, oh, Tiger's flushing it? Like, is he going to beat Scotty Scheffler?
Yeah, or, oh, he drove it past me on a couple holes. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. I find it amazing that Tiger Woods shoots a 59 and blows it past everybody when there's no eyeballs on him every single. It's just, it is exhausting when I hear all of that.
Best player at the Seminole member guest. Remember that one? Not too long ago.
There is something about him. I'll tell you this firsthand. When you see him, it's just an amazing thing. And so whenever you watch him hit a ball on the range, because I used to see this at Medalist. When I worked at Medalist, he was injured and just coming back. So all this similar buzz. Now, I mean, you're probably talking, I don't remember what, 2015, somewhere around that time frame. And so there was a buzz about Tiger coming back, and he's flushing it. And I found a lot of his golf balls in the woods. But when he hits shots, you always think, because of who it is, that it's intentional. So it's very easy on the driving range to be impressed and blown away. It sounds different. He hits it very high. He hits it far. It's incredible to watch. So it blows you away when you see it. And that's where all this stuff comes from. But it doesn't mean that, it takes a real discerning eye to see that he's ready. And there's a big difference between being really good at golf and being ready to compete in major championships.
Yeah, think about when he won in 2019. It took a minor miracle of all these great players collapsing around him for him to emerge as the champion. And think about how much and how well he was playing going into that tournament. He's playing a lot of golf, like 4 or 5 tournaments going in.
Mm-hmm.
4 going in and 18 starts in 2018.
And so I just can he still find the center of the club face, and is he smart enough at Augusta to like make it to Saturday? Absolutely. And I kind of think he will. But what are we even talking about beyond that? I don't know.
Well, here's what we're talking about beyond it, Patrick. And this was a fun little exchange. Question: what's your current position regarding the Ryder Cup captaincy at Bethpage? Tiger responds, "Okay." That's it. The follow-up is, what is it?
It was hilarious.
What is it?
I don't know if y'all saw it, but he was like, "Okay."
Then he says, "We're still talking about it," and even the transcript says, "Smiling."
Smiling. Yep. Yeah, I don't know what to do with the cat. It's like some of these reports. Someone reported he made a birdie on 11. It's like fantastic.
Yeah,
I'm really pumped about that.
Fire that report into the eclipse.
I don't know who's the guy who's like insisting on interviewing Fred Couples at every single Masters for him just to say Tiger Woods is going to do it again, guys. I played with him and JT. He's got the speed. Made birdie on 11. And then it happens at every single tournament Tiger Woods plays. And if I ever get to travel, I will punch this person in the throat. They're different at every tournament.
I'm gonna have that start being me. I'm gonna start being the Freddie Couples beat reporter.
No, that's not what he's talking about.
This one is the Tiger. Do you think you can win? Why are you here? Type of thing. Like, where's your game at? And I swear it's like a social media manager plant. Someone plants them in there so they can get the quote. They can pull the picture from Getty, and they can blast it everywhere.
It's somebody from TGR Foundation. Tiger, do you think you can win?
It infuriates me. Every time it infuriates me. I will say, though, he got asked about just what motivates him and what drives him. And I thought his answer, and I think that as he's gotten older, he's gotten more introspective, which I think is really cool because that's not how he used to be. And I think obviously he carries a ton of weight, but he said, I love golf. Actually, the way he said it was, I just love golf. I just love golf.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Well, I think actually Josh is telling me he has the clip. Can we just run
golf? I do. I've always loved it. I played other sports growing up, but I just have always loved this sport, and I love to compete and be able to have the love I have for the game and the love for competition be intertwined. I think that's one of the reasons why I've had a successful career. I just love doing the work. I love logging the time in, and I love preparing. I love competing, and I love that feeling when everything's on fire with a chance to win, and you either do or you don't.
God. It's like me and beer pong senior year of college.
I'm
putting in the work, logging the time.
That was a pretty good. That was a pretty good impersonation, Kyle. I think you nailed it. Actually,
I just love golf.
He reminded me of like my grandmother when he said, "I do" at the end. I always have. Like there's something so like old and wise about it.
Yeah. Have you ever had when someone shakes your hand, then they put the offhand on top, and it's very comforting and nurturing?
Yeah,
it's like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow. This is really
like they should show that they should show that clip. It almost felt scripted. It wasn't. It was actually very genuine. But they should show that clip at any like PGA Tour intro to you're getting your card. Like this is what it means to be a pro. It was awesome. It was really cool.
The golf course is getting a lot of conversation. The status of the golf course, obviously, a lot of conversation. And at that, it might all be for naught because of Thursday's forecast, but a lot of guys are describing it as firm, as fast. Brooks Koepka said, fastest or firmest he's seen in 4 or 5 years. And then we have Xander Schauffele with his take on the course.
It's looking like a a really hard, really firm. I mean, I was hitting 5 irons that were coming into par 5s or bouncing, tomahawking over the green, and I was like, this is pretty cool. It's been a while. And
Tomahawking over the green. I have not heard that before.
I'm in. Spieth was talking about how he's like, you give this place 2 more days of sunshine, and he got asked about why 3 putts are down. Jaime Diaz had a stat about how 3 putts at Augusta are declining. He goes, you give this place 2 more days of sunshine, and I promise you they will not be declining the rest of the week. Now, the problem is the rain on Thursday.
We're not going to get 2 more. We're not going to get 2 more days of sunshine, unfortunately, Patrick.
And I think that stat he had going back to 2019, saying they've been declining ever since. Every Masters since 2019.
I thought it was been farther.
But since 2019, there has been rain at every single Masters.
Yeah. And one was in November.
Yeah. So I think the course is set up in anticipation for this rain. But Will Zalatoris called Saturday and Sunday the Chamber of Commerce days, which that was not in my repertoire or my vocabulary beforehand. It will be going forward. And so it sounds like, we just got to get through these first couple days, and then it's going to be in a pretty good spot for the weekend.
The Spieth was getting steep on green speeds in 2014. He's like, 2014 is crazy. I was like, hell yeah. Let's talk about the green speed in 10 years ago at this golf course.
Greg, the forecast for Thursday, and we talked about this a little bit on the Monday show and how it would impact potentially some of these tee times. But here's the forecast. Basically a 90 or 95% chance of rain, thunderstorms, an accumulation of maybe an inch and a half, winds in the teens. It's not going to be pretty. Think they play through it?
No, winds in the teens, but gusting. I mean, I saw 38, which is that is a tomahawking wind. Right. And in those kind of rains, it's howling. So I'm very curious to see what happens Thursday. Rick, does your report have an hour by hour? Is that rain going to last throughout the day?
I love that you I think I have some type of great report here.
I'm just curious. I'm just curious. It's okay if it doesn't.
I can. Yeah. Yes, it does. It does. So, yes, until 3:00, it is going to rain, showers and thunderstorms from midnight to 3 p.m. and then partly cloudy. So that's a much bigger window than what we talked about on Monday. I was thinking that rain, it was looking like on Monday, it was going to be in and done around 2. And it kind of looks like even this morning when I was looking, it was stretching a little bit, and it now looks like it's stretched even more. So that's concerning. And I think it makes it really hard on Tiger Woods specifically, because if you have an inch and a half of rain coming down basically in the morning, that's heavy rainfall with heavy winds. And why start? You get some golf in the afternoon, and then you got 3 days in the clear. As far as rain is concerned, there's that adds a little extra motivation to be patient with the start of this thing, especially if it's really stormy and if it's dangerous out there for patrons. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play. It might lead to some long days. If it does, I think that's really tough on Tiger. Did you pack a umbrella and rain gear, KP?
No umbrella, but I do have some. I got a jacket, so we'll be good.
Because of what happened at Oak Hill, where I got the last small one, and I was really worried about not being able to get one this year, so I brought one. Sorry, Greg.
Did you bring the Oak Hill one?
Actually, no. I don't know where that's at now. I don't know if it ever made it back from Rochester, honestly. I want to open this up a little bit. I've got the tee times here. I've got the groupings. We have not talked. We've talked extensively in the lead up about Scotty Scheffler. We haven't talked about him today. We could talk about first timers again. We could talk about the groupings, which is always a fun reveal. I'm happy to open this up in any direction anybody wants to go in.
Let me give you a first timer trivia. How about that, real quick?
Whoa!
So there have been over the last 10 Masters, 4 debutantes have finished in at least a share of runner-up.
So wait, how many years? How many years?
Since 2014, starting from 2014 till last year. 4.
10.
Spieth,
Zalatoris,
Sung Jae.
Cam Smith. No.
Abraham answered no.
He shared the honors in 2014 with Jordan Spieth.
It's the Swedish guy. Jonas Blixt.
Correct.
Wow. How do you not have the trivia trophy?
I don't know.
It's rigged. It's all rigged.
It is. It's like the NBA.
How's it feel, Rick, to be on this side of the...
I hate it. I don't know the answers. I like being able to see the answers.
I did, true story, I did, the last night I was at home, my in-laws were in town, and we did Jeopardy with them and the grandkids, and I was the Rick. I was the host, the the showmaker, whatever you call it. And it was awesome. I loved it.
It's a lot more fun that way.
Oh, I was making noises. I was making fun of people. I was hollering. I was counting people down. My 10-year-old's pissed. It was great. I did a Masters category too.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. Yeah, that's good.
Fun.
Who are the rest, Patrick?
Rest of what?
That was all of them. There was just
that was all of them? Oh,
that was all 4.
I thought we were missing. Sorry.
4 last 10 years.
4 last 10 years. I thought there was 10. Oh, my bad.
No.
Okay, here's a game we were playing today in the press building. So we basically just you threw out 2 guys and you're like, who has a better chance to win? So I'm going to give you guys like 5 combinations of 2 guys, and you say who do you think has a better chance to win?
Okay.
Brooks or Wyndham?
Brooks.
Wow. Okay.
Sweep.
Rory.
Can we talk about Brooks 1 second?
Sure.
Yes.
So he comes in. He has a new Scotty Cameron in the bag that he's been using for 2 weeks. Not the Blade model, a different one, kind of like the JT one. It's probably a different one, but that look to it. He goes on Masters on the Range, talks to Amanda. He's like, "Yep, I'm gonna use it all week. I really like it." I go on Getty. He's got the Blade. He's using the Blade.
He also go back through LIV as well. Getty, he's switching back and forth between them. He's not using one exclusively like the last couple of events on LIV. He's going back and forth.
It's hilarious. And his remark, Kyle, I don't know who was asking the 59 question in the press building today.
He was displeased with that question.
But that was, he's like, Brooks is in his bag when he's already mad at the media for something.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be over.
Did you see he got asked about the caddy interaction last year?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, I don't know, man. Like, caddies are interacting and sharing information all day. Plus, I was just foreshadowing what was going to happen, talking about winning a 5th major.
Yeah.
Oh,
and we were all like, oh, okay. Like, he didn't deny it. Like, he didn't deny that he did it.
Right. Because once he got past the investigation, the case was closed.
Yeah, he just twisted it into something else. And you're like, oh, that he's kind of dialed, Patrick. He kind of sucks at golf right now, but I don't know that it means anything.
Yeah, he's struggling. And the putter is a massive problem, which is why he's going back and forth. I mean, he's been switching back and forth between Old Faithful and that Scotty Phantom for
someone pulled out the gif of Ron Burgundy. He's like, "Oh, I'm totally unprepared for this," and he pulls out the jazz flute when it's Brooks with the blade back in the back.
So these photos that Josh is showing are from today and yesterday, and
Yeah.
one he is using his normal blade that you recognize, and here is that Scotty Phantom. So he's all over the place. What did you want to talk about, KP? Or sorry, no, give us another group. Give us another group of guys or two guys.
My camera, by the way, is turning my face yellow because it's pulling the light from behind me.
It's also very bad lighting in these rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Xander or Rahm?
Rahm.
The X-Man.
Wow. Patrick or Greg, break the tie.
Rahm.
Yes.
Rory or Spieth?
Rory.
Really?
I'm gonna go with the 5-time green jacket winner, Jordan Spieth. Soon to be 6.
That always makes me laugh.
Whose brain would you rather scan, Rory McIlroy or Jordan Spieth?
I don't know.
Like in general or this week? Or
this
what?
week.
This week it's very close.
Spieth said he felt like last week was calming and it settled him down.
He's an agent of chaos.
He's a lunatic.
He thrives in it.
And he's so calm in the press room. I'll say Spieth, by the way.
Wow. I'm surprised by that.
2 Spieths. Okay.
Yeah.
Tiger or Phil?
Phil. Phil, and it's not close.
I think Phil's odds are longer. I mean, which
that's
makes
because
sense.
they can't take because they're going to take 100 times the handle on Tiger.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense.
the answer to that is really neither. But for the spirit of the game, we got to pick one.
Okay, how about one final one? Two guys we haven't talked about at all that are top 10 players in the world. Actually, we'll go 2 more. One, Morikawa or Cantlay?
Right now,
Cantlay.
Oh, I think I'd go Morikawa. I like his major record. He kind of he can figure it out, I think.
Yeah, he hasn't.
I know. I thought he was going to go with Victor or Morikawa.
Yeah, what's Victor's deal? He just hasn't played.
Victor, so I was in his presser. Buddy, he might be in too deep.
I know.
He big brain golf.
He's galaxy brain in this thing.
He was talking about these papers that he read online when he was 15 about the biomechanics of the golf swing. And I was like, I don't know if this is it.
He is if you ever watch him on the range and again, he's on to another swing instructor now. So him and Grant Waite have split and he's back with Dana Dahlquist. He's just rolling through them at the moment. He is very, very technical on the range and in his session. So that doesn't really surprise me, but it's a very, I don't want to say dangerous place to be because if you can handle it, it's great. But it's deep. It's very deep.
Well, he came across as almost like a serial tinkerer, which is fun to talk about and I think very interesting to ask about. I just don't know if I just don't know what that means like in the long term. Like, are serial tinkerers guys that have like 25-year great careers? You can.
What do you think Vijay Singh is?
Yeah. No, it's a great point. There are guys that do it. I just think it's the harder path.
We heard so Xander Schauffele talked yesterday and they asked him about working with Chris Cuomo a lot. And what he said was just so different, the complete other end of the spectrum of how Victor Hovland looks at the game. He was like, I was terrified to make a switch because I'm playing such good golf right now, and a switch can make you a lot worse. You know, it can make you better, sure, but it can make you a lot worse too.
Victor said he made the switch.
Xander.
Victor said he made the switch because he was playing too good. It was unsustainable.
Yeah.
Did he say that?
He got like everything out of his game, he thought. Pretty much.
I'll find the exact quote, but it was because I was on the plane when he. So let me swing past. He said something like it's unsustainable. So he was asked, looks like you were working with Dana Dahlquist yesterday a little bit. I want to go back to the end of last year. You were maybe one of the best players playing best golf of your career. It seemed like an interesting time to make a coaching change. what went through that and kind of where you are right now with coaches. So he says a couple of things. Then he said, and even at the end of last year, I still felt like, yeah, I was playing great, but I got a lot out of my game and it didn't necessarily feel sustainable. But it's not like I consciously went in and said, hey, we're going to change everything up. So that kind of goes back to the, like, I'm sure he's looking at it as saying, I'm going to find every way to improve 1% every day. We might describe it as, hey, he's tinkering all the time. Good, bad, indifferent. I don't know. But I'm sure that that is the way he is seeing it.
Yeah. And I think, I mean, it fits with like his personality and how he does things. It just, from the outside, feels crazy on the eve of the Masters. Right?
The coaching switches worry me. Like, it's one thing for Rory McIlroy to get a second opinion from Butch Harmon, and players have done. A lot of players have done this. You go see Butch, you still have your coach, right? Like Rory still has Michael Bannon with him, and so there's no big deal. Like every coach is going to say, "Yeah, go see Butch." You get a second opinion. That's very different than changing coaches. And there are times where you want to have something to fall back on. I think Jordan Spieth is a tinkerer big time with his golf swing. And I think he does a lot of it on his own with, JT videotaping his swing or something like that. But he has somewhere he can go to ask questions, get information, and kind of be like guarded with a solid coach who's been with you for a long time. It's like bumpers.
I think I know we need to get to a break. I think there's a difference between, like, I feel like JT is trying to find like the right feel, and some guys are trying to like find a new feel. And I don't know what, I guess I probably don't know enough about the swing to know which Hovland is pursuing. It just, all that to say, it came across like, man, this, I don't know. My last one for you guys, I think I'll get you on this. Cam Young or Ludwig?
I'm going to say Cam Young.
I'm going to say Ludwig. Gregors?
To win?
Greg, I have some additional information for you also.
To slide on a green jacket.
No, I don't need to be...
The first two rounds, Ludwig is paired with Sahith Theegala and Jordan Spieth. Just take that for what it is.
I know. Part of me wants to just tease this to the betting card because I may have a little answer to this in there.
Oh, yeah. Tease it.
So let's just go to the betting card. If you're ready, Rick. I mean, I'm not the show master here.
Well, we are ready, but we're going to hit a break first. But I wanted to say something about that, Patrick. What did you say? Oh, he's not going to even talk to Jordan Spieth and Sahith because they will be 40 yards in each direction. He will be right down the middle of the fairway every single time. They will not even chat 1 second with each other.
I tweeted, what's Spieth going to do this week? And the replies are worth reading.
I saw some of them. I bookmarked the rest of them for later. All right.
One guy said triple the first and albatross the second, even par going to the third.
On that note, we are going to continue this conversation. We're going to get to our bets. We are going to give our one and done selections, and then we'll wrap this up with a little bit more conversation. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners.
There are some things in life that you can't quite explain.
An extraordinary story.
Maybe it sounds flawless, looks effortless, or makes you feel like a part of history.
The first ever goal for BFC.
And when all of those phenomenons come together, it's perfect. Pitch perfect.
And we're back. Here's the plan, gents. We're going to do bets. We're going to do one and done, and then open floor if we want to wrap with anything additionally. Here is how we do this in case you've never seen this before. Josh gives us $100. We go and we spend $50 on the matchup of our choice, $30 on the finishing position that we like the most, $10 each on two separate outrights. Josh puts them all into a grid, and he presents that grid right now. Perfect timing. Oh, there's a lot of interesting stuff. Having the full I missed having everybody in one field because the names that we get to mull over here are so darn good. Let's start with the matchups. Patrick, the 2024 Masters, kick us off with a matchup.
Yeah, some of the biggest names in the field. First, I see some confusion in the chat saying it's Como, not Cuomo. Xander's actually working with the political analyst. So you are actually incorrect, and I am correct.
I was gonna. I chuckled about that. That was good.
Yeah, come on. I'm headier than that, you guys. I'm gonna go with. I said two of the biggest names in the field. Chris Kirk, -110 over Keegan Bradley. I mean, Jon Rahm won at Kapalua and then won at Augusta National. Chris Kirk, potentially T23 last year. Tee to green, he's been very good. Super underrated short game. To steal a line from Jordan Spieth, driving the piss out of the golf ball. And Keegan's kind of just been not too hot lately. So I think Kirk is actually in store for a pretty good week. I think he could top 20. And so I think he'll take care of business over Keegan.
Greg, you have chosen an underdog over a man that we have just kind of referenced in that last section of the show.
Yeah, this is what I was referring to. So Will Zalatoris at +130 over Ludwig Åberg. Look, Ludwig could win. And I have decided he has a better chance of winning than Cam Young. But Will Zalatoris is all he has done is finish top 5, top 10, and contend in major championships. He's done it here at the Masters too. And I don't see anything in his game this year that says that's going to change. You look at 2 of the or 3 of the major championship type venues we've already played, and he has a T13, a T4, and a T6. So Will Zalatoris, I believe, is back. And I'm not missing out on him in the first major of the year. And Ludwig now coming into a place where rookies tend to, well, let's just say not win. I think Will Zalatoris beats him this week.
That is +130. So a pretty decent line for Zalatoris over Ludwig. I went with Sergio Garcia at +115 to beat Adam Scott, just finishing a playoff.
I like that.
Lost to Dean Burmeister last week. Speaking of culling through Getty for putter images, Patrick.
Ooh.
Sergio changed putters last week, gained 5 strokes putting, and that is the key to success.
Did he change his polo? Because some of that Fireball gear was disgusting last week. Horrible. Horrible.
On a scale from 1 to 10, Patrick, Wyndham Clark's shirt today was a?
Looked like a Doppler radar. It was a 2. It's like, dude,
I'm a 10. 10 of 10.
10 out of 10.
I thought Patrick was going to be a 9.5. I don't know what.
No, he's like stealing like Victor's shtick, kind of, right? Like it's cool when Victor does it. He's the guy, or when Spieth does it, or when the Nike guys do it, like Fleetwood and Finau.
No, you're just making stuff up.
I don't know who Wyndham wants to be right now. It doesn't fit his like MO of like oozing confidence to wear that in the T-Mobile. Like he's just swimming in money right now.
First time we've seen that?
SoFi. Yeah, T-Mobile's new, SoFi's new.
I bet SoFi loves their logo being put on a kaleidoscope.
This was a tough look for me personally. And did you see that Kurt Kitayama had the exact same thing on?
Yes.
Like no one's matching Vic. Vic's in a league of his own. Like that's a tough scene for Wyndham.
Vic's Whalers outfit from the Open will never be matched.
I noticed he doesn't have a racing stripe down his pants this week, which is a little
the tuxedo pants.
Disappointing.
It is disappointing. KP, you have opted to battle 2 big boys against one another.
Well, Xander's going to finish T5, so it's just a matter of whether you think Rahm is going to be better than that. And I don't know. I will say I watched him a little bit today, and he almost slam dunked one on 18 from like 160. So this might be a foolish bet, but Xander is perfect for finishing top 10 and just not somebody that I would really pick to win.
Finishing position. We have 4 different golfers, 3 of them with top 20s, 1 of them with a top 10. I'll get out of the way. Justin Thomas, top 20, to finish plus 140. I don't know, man. He's played well here before. Maybe he gets the new caddy bump. 6 months ago, I thought he was going to win the Masters. A month ago, I thought he might win the Masters. Today, I have no clue, but I can't let it go. So Justin Thomas, top 20. Patrick.
I don't know what to think about JT. Like, we haven't even talked about him today, and I'm right there with you, Rick. I thought 2 months ago, I was like, oh, he's all the way back, and now I'm like, I don't know. He might just be like a Patrick McDonald meme generator.
I mean,
He might be.
Got that one in the pocket for later this week. I like the switch. I don't like the timing of it. I'll say that much. Like, the timing of it, obviously, it reeks of something more than just I need someone else to give me a pep talk out there. You know, you don't do that.
Comes from that comes from the 79. It's not planned. We'll break up right before the Masters. It's, hey, we just shot 79. This isn't working out. 79. When you're in the lead.
Yeah.
Not good. Patrick, what'd you go with?
Xander Schauffele, top 10 plus 150. Pretty much everything Kyle said, although I do think he has a chance to win this week.
Kyle.
Cam Young, top 20. We're sleeping on Cam Young. I picked him to win in January. I don't know that he's going to win, but he's hitting it good. And he played well here last year. Finished, I think, T8, T10, something like that.
And Greg, a familiar name if you've been following the First Cut for the last couple of months.
Yeah, big Tony Finau. I thought I was going to get to a place where he would be a column over. I haven't quite gotten there. But I think if you look at some of the guys I like, a lot of them were in the mix in Houston. Tony Finau is one of them. I like him for a top 20 plus 130.
Speaking of moving a column over, those are our outright columns, 2 for each of us, and we are running the gamut here. Kyle's got a couple of longer shots. I stayed closer to the top of the board. There's a lot happening here, but Greg, I'm going to kick it right back to you and ask you who your 2 selections to win the 2024 Masters are going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Scotty Scheffler plus 450. I mean, there's not much more to say. I think this is his tournament to win, and I think he does it. And I also think Brooks Koepka at 20-1 is a nice number for a guy that I think is just very capable of winning, no matter what these conditions are, no matter how the golf course is set up. There aren't a lot of guys that are really ready and able to win in the kind of tests that they're going to face this week. Brooks is certainly one of them.
I'm going with Jordan Spieth at 25-1. I know he's capable of doing it. I love that he's able to thrive in the chaos, yet think that he's calm. I don't know. It's a really bizarre place to be. And I'm buying the Rory stuff. I saw what I needed to see. Okay, let me step back. In a spreadsheet, I'm happy with Rory winning this golf tournament. I like what I've seen there. This will not be played in a spreadsheet. I'm hoping that the Butch / showing up on Tuesday / maybe being a year older, a little more perspective / everybody talking about everything but Rory / a little luck / a little rain / anything else I can come up with before Thursday morning is good enough to fix the mental side of things. So I'm going Rory and Spieth, 10-1 and 25-1. Patrick.
I like it. I think KP might have Rory pre-written already for Sunday potentially. I think he's had that one on the back burner for years. But I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth as well at 25-1. I went down a rabbit hole all of Victor Hovland a couple nights ago. Watched the final round of the 2018 Masters. One of the more underrated Masters in my opinion. just
So
because some people don't like Patrick Reed. Not me, of course. We stick together, the Patricks. The big shot that draws a lot of memories is the tree branch on 18. But holy cow, I did not remember Patrick Reed's putt on 17 that was going to race by the hole and hit the pin.
stick. Ricky Fowler, Masters champion.
Oh my! I was like,
It's an amazing what if.
wow.
Because Ricky finished ahead, like a couple of holes, or maybe like a hole ahead, and so they would have been tied.
Yeah, it was totally. Did not remember that. Long story short, Jordan Spieth, 25-1, is going to be your Masters champion. And then I'm going to go with Xander Schauffele, 16-1. I know, Greg, I talked about him not being able to take a punch after the Players. I think he's toughened up a little bit. I think
You think he's just running away from him this week? He's
he's
going to play above him.
He's dodging him like Frank Mayweather this
Muhammad
week.
Ali
Doesn't even have to take him.
Frank Mayweather, Chris Cuomo, whoever else we need to get into this
Floyd
conversation.
Mayweather. Oh my God, that's tough.
See, we're doing this past Patrick's bedtime, and he's all hot.
It's the second cut. It's the second cut. It's the second cut.
I legit thought that Frank was like his real name, and that's what you were referencing. I thought Floyd was like a nickname that you
Frank,
just call him by his first name.
Frank Money Mayweather. You know.
Maybe it is. I don't know.
I was thinking of Tiger's head cover. Yeah, we're gonna go Xander 16-1. Got to tie it into golf.
KP, you have not gone shorter than 45-1. Please give us your two winners.
Yeah, I mean, I've got two guys that finished in the top 10 the last time they played the Masters, which is a little bit of gymnastics because Zalatoris didn't play it last year. But these numbers don't make sense to me. Zalatoris has finished 2nd and 6th. Cam Young is built for this place. And 45 and 50 is just too long to me. They should be more like 25 and 30 or 35 and 40 at the longest. So I just kind of, for me, it's the numbers here.
Rory, Spieth, Zalatoris, Cam Young, Xander, Spieth, Scotty, and Brooks Koepka to win the Masters for us. And then we beg Josh to give us an extra 50. He does, and we can put it on anything that we want. We have an outline, and just in this outline, KP, you only wrote one thing. Do we have what KP wrote?
See woo, shaking that ass, shaking that ass, shaking that ass.
Kyle wrote Siwoo shaking that ass plus 165. Then Josh had to say, what does that even mean?
Who's grading that one?
That one? Do we just give that to you if he's out there shaking it on the first? Like, how do we grade you on that? So what would you like to have that be?
He's been shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, his top 20 plus 165.
Top 20.
Siwoo's flushing it. I mean, Siwoo might win this tournament, and people are just not even paying attention.
It's pretty good stuff. He's got some good stuff going on.
Yeah,
So,
he's one of the fullest time hitters on tour, and he's like 70-1.
So shaking it all the way to a top 20 at plus 165 is the official wager for Kyle. Greg, your pick, also a top 20. What'd you go with?
I went with Patrick Reed for a top 20. Speaking of 2018, look, I think this is going to be a really difficult tournament. I think it's going to put a lot of pressure on short game. I think Patrick Reed still has that ability. When he comes here to Augusta National, he rekindles some of his national championship run. The putter gets hot. He's a lot better here than you might think. And his performance after his win improved. So I think Patrick Reed can grind out a top 20 this week at plus 200.
I took Sung Jae Im to be top Korean plus 280 over Siwoo, Ben An, and Tom Kim. So hopefully it's like Sung Jae 15th, Siwoo 16th. Everybody gets their share. And Patrick, you will stick with the outrights here in the best bet. I'm not sure this is handicapping advice, but if you're here for entertainment purposes only, as you should be, tell the people what you have opted to do with your best bet.
Just to bring it back to 2018 one more time, talk about one of the all-time calls by our former colleague, Sir Nick Faldo. Welcome to the new age. I'm going to go, hinting at Imagine Dragons. I'm going to go with Jordan Spieth, though, 25-1 to win it all. I was going to go with Scotty Scheffler. Thought that's just too easy. I think Spieth, in my hearts of hearts, somehow he's just going to get it done this week. So I'm going 25-1, and I'll coast for the rest of the year.
I don't know, Rick. On the handicapping advice, Patrick has a 44.8% return rate.
Yeah.
And he was deep in the hole until he started just firing outrights out every week. So maybe
I figured out this game. I figured it out.
Yeah, he also has the second worst winning percentage.
Yep.
Maybe he's onto something.
You know, Hovland once said, when you're in the best run of your life, it might be a little unsustainable. That might be what we're looking at here with Patrick's betting card situation. Sung Jae Im, top Korean. Siwoo shaking it to a top 20. Jordan Spieth to win. Patrick Reed to finish inside the top 20. There's only one final thing to do here, gentlemen. That is the one and done. Did we get the purse announcement yet? I have not seen it.
No.
Probably not until
the Riddler speaks tomorrow.
Yeah, probably tomorrow.
It depends on who wins.
Could you imagine?
That'd be
sick. That would be so sick. So we don't know the purse. Probably in the
guys should have to put up their own money.
That got to buy in. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, it would be, and they would. Everybody would.
How much could you? So if you charge them all $50,000, 50 times
a blind buy-in, you just can't be like the low amount.
89. That's only $4.5 million. We might need more. we might need $100,000 from them and get up to $8 million.
Well, the amateurs can't. I mean, you know.
Well, they're not going to get it. They get in free.
Yeah.
Oh, they just play. Oh, because they don't get money anyway.
They can't win anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
So very interesting wrinkles this week because of the LIV golfers. Yet only 2 of us took LIV golfers, which we'll see how that goes. Josh, reveal the board, please. Thank you kindly. I'm in last place, so I would go first here. Yet Patrick and I have picked the same golfer, which has never, ever, ever, ever worked out for us. Patrick, who did we pick?
We picked Jordan Spieth. All week, I was going to pick Xander Schauffele, but then I looked in my records, my database, proprietary models, and I found out that I had picked him last year as well. And I was like, I can't make that mistake again. So I picked Jordan Spieth instead.
Yep. Patrick and I are on Jordan Spieth. He's at 5.1 million. I'm at 2.2 million, and we need it. KP also needs it now. He will be a lone wolf, so he's dangerous. He's dangerous out there. KP, who'd you pick?
I don't know why I did this, but I went with Shane Lowry.
I like him.
I like that he just
there's potential there.
He didn't even want to offer any explanation.
I don't really have. I mean, he's been good at Augusta, and he's playing pretty good golf this year. It just feels bizarre to take Shane Lowry for one of the 4 biggest events of the year. Although our guy, the Moose, just texted us.
Yes.
Said Shane Lowry 55-1 final answer. So I like being on Team Moose.
I roll with the Moose. And if he's on Lowry, I want to be on Lowry.
Well, right now you're rolling with the Rick or with the Patrick.
Yeah, the 2 Ricks are running together here. And it always ends in disaster. Mark, that sneaky little Mark, has gone with Xander Schauffele for this week. And Greg, probably correctly, has chosen a LIV golfer. Which one, though, Greg, have you chosen?
I believe this will be low LIV. Well, maybe not. There's a couple of other good options.
It will be or it won't be. We'll see.
Yeah, like Tiger said, you either win or you don't. Cam Smith. Again, I think this is going to be kind of a really difficult Masters. And that means a couple things. One, short game is going to be really important. I do believe there's an echelon of players that can hit their way through it, like the Scotties and the Brooks. And Brooks is the reason why I said maybe not low live for Cam. But I think there's a large majority of this field that's going to have to lean pretty heavily on short game. And Cam Smith's short game comes to life here and everywhere he plays. It's elite, but he certainly gets these greens. And I think this is probably a good spot for him.
Cam Smith and Josh has done the prudent thing in the lead and selected Jon Rahm. $7 million for Jon Rahm and Josh, 6.3. Cam Smith, Greg, 5.7. Xander Schauffele and Mark, 5.1 for Patrick and Jordan Spieth. Shane Lowry for Kyle at 2.9 million. And I will also roll with one Jordan Spieth at 2.2. I'm happy to open it up to the floor, but like a 45-second limit.
Well, they just the Champions Dinner photo just got tweeted.
How's it look?
I don't know how you feel about this, Patrick, but Spieth is in a purple shirt and purple tie.
That was my first. He went purple on purple. Just hand him the green jacket now. I didn't know Under Armour was scripting him tonight.
I see it.
DJ's all black shirt is interesting, or all black underneath the green is interesting. Here we go. I can't look away from Spieth.
I know.
Where is he? Oh, I see.
He really pops
right behind Trevor. And
Mike Weir always looks just immaculate.
Look at Sergio. Look at Sergio with the hand on the guy in front of him.
It's like the handshake.
He's got both on him. He's got both.
Phil.
You can see it up by Phil's tie, his right
Oh,
hand.
yeah.
Nick Faldo just called Bubba Watson's Champions Dinner the worst he's had, and they're just chumming it up in the back together.
Nick Faldo is a unit, by the way. He's a monster.
Who's your starting five out of these guys?
Scheffler. DJ looks small compared to.
Are they standing on anything? No way Hideki's that big, right?
Hideki's kind of a
he's big.
kind of a unit.
Who is? Let's play.
Who's behind? Is that Schwartzel behind Bernard Longer?
Yeah, that's him.
Is it?
Yeah. Who is in front of Bernhard on either side?
You got Woozy.
Yeah.
And that's Fuzzy.
Is it?
Woozy and Fuzzy?
Oh man, that's my final answer.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I feel pretty good about it.
Dude, Mike Weir looks younger than like Scheffler.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he looks good. He looks really good. Wow. Well, there you have it.
Who's behind? Is that Fred Couples behind DJ?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adam Scott looks dapper as usual.
Yeah, he looks fantastic.
He looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like tying the tie to the yellow accent around the Augusta. I mean, the guy knows what he's doing.
I mean, Spieth, what are we doing?
He's a maniac. Okay, boys, anything else? We got a lot on the schedule for tomorrow. We're going to be doing like HQ first cut on HQ/CBS Sports Network / there's a lot on the schedule. So just throw on CBS Sports HQ, throw on CBS Sports Network. You'll see these faces talking about the Masters a lot tomorrow.
You will.
Fired up for it.
Kyle's gonna Sherpa me around the grounds at Augusta National, but he doesn't know it yet.
Can't wait for that either.
I'm so nervous. I don't know why I'm nervous.
I'm pumped for you guys.
New profile pic.
I can't believe
That's tough. All right.
I like it.
he's gonna win.
We're just getting started. There's still Wednesday and then the tournament, and maybe the tournament doesn't even start till Friday. I won't even say that. Big thanks to producer Josh, does all the hard work behind the scenes. Greg DuCharme available at The Real GFD. Patrick McDonald at P. McDonald CBS. Kyle Porter at Kyle Porter CBS. You can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been The First Cut. We'll catch you next time.